Stay a while and listen.
Welcome to the Agony of Positivity, also known as the AOP Podcast. I am Ross, and with me today is Soul Train.
I am
See,
Soul.
it's like Soul instead of Saul.
Soul
Train.
I am Soul Train, yes. I am the Soul Train. I like it.
You could be that.
It
makes you sound like you might be one of the robots that Soundwave shoots out.
Yes. You know, I was watching, and when I say watching, I watched maybe like 5 minutes of it. The latest Transformers movie. Oh man, that was
the one with Unicron.
I don't know, the one where Megatron was making a deal with the humans. So Megatron was trying to have the Decepticons get out of, because they're locked up in prison or something. You know which one that is? Is that the latest one?
For a dude who has Autobot and Decepticon tattoos, I don't know what you're talking about at the moment. Because there's one where he made the deal, but he turned on them, and then they were just vaporizing people in Chicago or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And then,
so I only watched 5 minutes of it because it's Transformers movies are terrible. I'm sorry, but I was watching it, and he's like making a deal, and all these Decepticons are locked up in prison basically, and one of the Decepticons was arrested because he was a bank robber. And I'm like, what? Why would a Decepticon be a bank? It was just weird.
I feel like if you had watched more than 5 minutes, you could tell me a little more about what was going on.
I turned it because I was waiting for those stupid parents to come on, and anytime I see humans in the Transformer movie, I just turn it.
That's it for you. You're done.
I want robots. That's all I want. I don't want the humans. Just take them out completely.
Right. You want robot on robot violence?
Yes.
I think that's what we all want deep down inside, except for Big E.
Sure. Yep.
So how's your week been? Other than watching 5 minutes of Transformers.
Not that a lot. I mean, watched a lot of movies. Played a lot of World of Warcraft. Played some Hearthstone.
Well, if we talk about games, we'll save that. But were you playing classic or retail?
Both. I was playing both.
I've definitely been tempted to play. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know how.
Yeah, right now.
Somehow I've been hypnotized.
I'll just save it when we get to the game section, if we get to the game section. But
all right.
Yeah, nothing much. So how's your week been?
Pretty normal. They made me start working from home, which I was adamantly against because we do not have space for that. Like if you're watching this on YouTube, which no one does, but it's still there. So if you ever want to, you can go over there.
And if you're watching this in 2022, there's a thing happening right now with Steve Carino that's keeping people from.
He's just juicing all over everybody.
Yeah.
But the room that I record in, like while we've been doing our social distance podcast here, is the room that the missus uses to work in. Didn't really have space anywhere for me, so I got to come home and spend hours rearranging stuff. We have a dresser just sitting in the middle of a room now, trying to make room. I have a power cable that, along with an Ethernet cable, that is a complete tripping hazard. Like I've still been sick until like today's the first day that I've felt normal.
Yeah.
My expectation from the past couple weeks when I started to feel normal is that tomorrow I'll probably be throwing up and about to die again. But we'll find out. But like I haven't shaved, my neck's itchy.
You're the guy, the Metallica song, "The Shining Light at the End of My Tunnel." It's just a freight train coming. It sounds like you're that type of guy, Ross.
Currently it's been a rough 3 weeks, month. Like
Sure.
arguably year with some of the weird stuff that's happened. Like when my foot just broke while I was sautéing mushrooms. So, but yeah. So working from home now that it's set up, it's not awful, but it's still like, man, I don't have the spot. I don't know where we move this stuff. Like, there's not a way to really set it up unless we just get rid of a bunch of stuff. You know what's going to be real hard to do right now is to get rid of anything with anybody. Like, hey, you want to come over and help? Hello? Oh, no one's going anywhere. No one wants fabric. So, all right.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for me going back to work because I have now adapted my body to a sleep schedule of going to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I know that's going to be murder when I actually have to start going back to real.
I woke up and I noticed that I had a text message from you that was at like midnight or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I saw that. I was like, he didn't know what time it was. There is no way that he did. He was just like on autopilot somewhere.
Oh, I was texting my sister 2 o'clock in the morning, and because I'm so used to being up now.
Right.
I'm thinking everyone else is up with me. Yeah. She sent me a text while I was sleeping at 10 o'clock. She's like, I'm not up all hours of the night like you are right now. Stop texting me at weird hours.
That's why you turn your phone on silent when you go to bed, so you don't get woken up by stuff like that.
You just enjoy my text whenever they come in. And
just wake up, stop what you're doing.
Yes, stop sleeping.
All right, are we ready to... So, to give everybody the idea of what to expect today on the show, I don't think the wrestling talk, despite the fact that WrestleMania was this weekend, I don't think there's going to be a lot of... in the past. Yep. More the past, but not as in the past as it actually was when it was recorded.
Yes.
Which is weird. But even with that, there's not a ton of that stuff to talk about. So we're going to be talking about some other just random stuff. We got... Some of it is going to be conspiracy stuff and Bigfoot, which on the old shows came up a surprising amount. Because
that's all you need to know.
I do love some conspiracies. We're not going to talk about any of the super relevant ones right now because some of them are completely insane and I don't understand them. But we're going to try to get away from that for the most part so that you can escape reality.
Yes.
But, all right, so I'm going to hit the bumper. I'll let you know when it's over.
Oh, I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue pants.
This is a revolution.
So that's over, but I'm still playing this.
Why did Britt take her shoe off to eat that sandwich?
And that's the Cody saying, why did Britt take her shoe off to eat that sandwich?
Yes.
So I found that. So, all right, here's what I say. Did you watch Raw? Because I did not.
I don't know. I don't even think I watched clips of Raw.
I read the results and don't remember them.
Well, I mean, so let's talk about what was the best about WrestleMania.
Yeah, let's get to there. So I have the WWE.com page up, but I just have where Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder of the Revival were released.
Yep.
I want to comment on the way that headline is written. It says, of the Revival released. They could have just said, the Revival released. Like, there's not other members that are still around that are in the Revival. But, yeah, so...
Well, that you know of. Wait till you see, like, the new Revival. Like, the new Scott Hall, new Kevin Nash.
It'd be awesome if Kane showed up and was like, I'm Scott Dawson. Or Wilder. I don't know which one's which, but... and just played on that. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, so night one, I'm going to myself. The Boneyard match was probably the highlight for me.
I am also going to say that the Boneyard match was the only thing that I enjoyed. Yes.
For me, it was the highlight. So I'm just kind of scrolling through the page here, like their front page. But now we did get Braun against Goldberg. Or was it Drew against Brock? Because both matches were basically the same match.
Yes.
One guy does some finishers, the other guy does some finishers. The match is over.
I would say though Drew McIntyre's match was better. If I had to, if you're going at like gun to the head guy, making me choose which one I liked more, probably Drew McIntyre.
But so the Boneyard match was basically just a fight.
Yep.
With some just ridiculousness, but to me it's okay because it's the Undertaker, and
Apparently
I don't know what I really expected.
Apparently the club, I guess, or whatever they're called. They're called the club, right?
One of them's the Well Done after laying on a roof that blew up.
No, so what is AJ Styles' group called? What's that group called? They're called the club, right?
It's the OC.
The OC, that's right.
The original club, I think.
Yeah. Well, in any case, I didn't know that the Dark Order worked with the OC because I'm like...
Evil Uno specifically addressed that and said that was not them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I don't know if you saw that, but he actually said, that's not us.
That's even better.
Because I saw that, like, I saw his tweet before I actually got to the match. Like, I was way behind with it somehow. And then all those guys came out, and then I laughed because I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I enjoyed the way they did that. It's Undertaker being Undertaker. Chokeslam off the roof was cool. It was missing. Yeah. I mean, he had the Metallica song for the ride-in.
Uh-huh. So, so I guess the American Badass is back. I guess the actual dead man is gone now. I guess.
No telling. I don't understand. I don't know if we're going to get a full answer to that. They didn't use the "You're Gonna Pay" music yet that I'm aware of. So I assume that's our next step.
Which is, I mean, the American Badass Undertaker, I mean, it's not my favorite, but I mean, it wasn't bad.
There's some highlights to it. It seemed like he enjoyed it more, and he could talk.
Sure.
And gave him a little more to do, so I could see that. Although, like, well, you're just going to be an unstoppable zombie. That seems pretty all right. It was clearly worked pretty well for him. So on night one, So I'm going to say I wasn't the biggest fan of this WrestleMania. Like, the matches were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously hurt by not having a crowd. But I appreciate, whether it was the right decision or not to do it, that they went ahead and did the matches and did the best that they could to put a show on.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely the argument that you can make that maybe that's not what they should have done, but, you know.
Well, I mean,
before...
I don't...
Go ahead.
I don't blame WWE for... Like you said, I didn't like this WrestleMania, but I don't blame them for that because, I mean, they're working with what they have, you know. So.
Right. Like, there's little criticisms that would still stand, but in general where it's like, oh, I didn't really care for that match, I'm not going to murder them over it, so to say, by words or anything like that. Let's go to night 2 real quick. I guess the big thing from night 2 was the Firefly Funhouse experience.
Yeah, it was an experience.
Right. Obviously, I don't think that counts as a match at all, but whatever it was, I was entertained by it. I thought it was pretty neat. I really don't know if I get it 100%. Like, I understand what was going on with it, like the general idea, but
so here's what I don't understand about that match. So, was it a supernatural match? Was it a dream?
I would assume that is just showing the powers that Bray Wyatt or The Fiend currently possess within the Funhouse.
Okay.
Or there's going to be a cut, like, the next time if Cena has a real match with him where he got, like, shot with a dart full of LSD or something. Or, like, knocked out and somebody put some acid squares on his tongue or in his eyelids or something to explain what was going on.
Well, because in AEW, because Matt Hardy had some magical powers too, And that night when that happened, it seemed like they were going with that he had powers, and then like the following night they said Vanguard
Yeah,
was
they
throwing
walked
up
it.
holographic projections of him.
Yes, they walked it back a little bit. Well, I think they saw there was a lot of criticism, and they're like, well, maybe we don't want magic in AEW. But like Jericho said that, like, if you've seen where he's been doing that Saturday night thing, he's like, yeah, that was largely my idea. So if you didn't like it, you can blame me. But if you loved it,
Gotcha.
hey, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
So, but the way they walked, like, it being Van, it's like, okay, that's fine. He basically played a trick on Jericho.
Yeah.
So whatever. So Drew got his win over Lesnar, and then in the mystery main event, he fought the Big Show somehow.
Yes.
I mean, things happen. So
The one thing I didn't understand about the Funhouse
mhm.
was I didn't understand the NWO references. I mean, I understand everything else except for the NWO part. I didn't understand that.
I think they just were like, you know what's sweet is the NWO, so we're gonna do something with that.
Yeah, I just couldn't.
Or they were saying that if he had turned, or if he had went evil and hit Bray with the chair, that maybe that would have made a darker side of Cena that would have caused him and Bray to team up, maybe.
Okay, all right, I can see that. Okay.
So, and I guess we should talk about this. I don't know how, but I almost forgot. Edge and Orton. Did you check that match out?
Yeah, it bored me, so I didn't really watch all of it.
I watched the whole thing. I thought it was long while I was watching it, but I enjoyed it. Like, I just, it was like, okay, this is feels like a really long match. I bet it's not been that long. And then it's like 40 minutes. But I liked it. Good on, like Edge looked fine. Basically just them fighting each other. I saw someone get real unhappy over the spot where they were in the gym area and on one of the straps where you'd put your arms in to do the leg raises or whatever, where he kind of hung Edge in it. And they're like, I can't believe they would do that. And then Chris Benoit, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think anything about that at the time because he had his arm through it. It was more he was holding him in place to hit him. But, all right. Yeah, so that's all I got. We didn't get the post WrestleMania Raw, so whatever. So that's our WWE talk, I think, unless you have something to add.
No, I think.
Kevin Owens jumped off the thing. There we go.
I don't even think I saw. Oh no, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
In all honesty, the entirety of it is just not exciting this week. Yeah. But so for Dynamite, we got different things going on. The Murder Hawk just wrecked some dude again.
Yes.
Jake Roberts is doing Jake Roberts things. So you had mentioned this. I saw something about it where Big Daddy Cool Diesel had something to say about the Murder Hawk and the Blackout. That basically he couldn't do it to everybody. He's pointed out he's done it to someone who's 400 pounds. And then Nash, whether he was just giving him a hard time or not, that's kind of the route they went. So what I'd like to say about this is regardless of if he can do it to everyone, the Blackout sucks. I'm just going to say it. For a finisher, I'm not impressed. Okay. Not because, it is impressive that he does it, but that feels to me like a 2-count move. Like him doing a power bomb or some of the other stuff he does seems much more impressive for a finisher to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I wish he couldn't do it to everybody, and then maybe he'd get something different.
Sure.
But again, I'm super critical of finishing moves. So, all right. So I think the big thing, really, they had the TNT thing. Cody pinned Spears with the figure 4. I want to see a video about, him training the figure 4 to make it more effective. Bending rebar with his legs.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
All right. We had Britt Baker against Sheeta. And I would say this was probably Britt's best match. Would you agree? Of the ones that we have seen on AEW.
I would agree with that, yeah.
I have not watched her.
I think you said it. It's a shame because it was nobody.
This exact match in front of a crowd would have been nuts. I have the feeling. I want to say, like, I haven't seen her entire body of work, like all her matches away from before AEW, so there might be something that just crushes this one, but I'm not aware of it. But as far as what we've seen here, because she got, I guess her nose got busted on the Insiguri is what I was seeing.
That's what it looked like, yeah.
But she had like blood coming down her face, and she played it up really well. So I don't know if there was, since they were recording it, if maybe they stopped at some point for a couple minutes and then restarted filming, and like she had time to think about it. But that, I mean, they already got a shirt for her, the Britt Baker Possessed shirt, where it looks kind of like a Kiss style shirt.
Yeah.
Where she looks all crazy. Not a shirt I would ever wear, but it's pretty cool.
Sure.
The other thing she did in this match that I thought was hilarious is she was getting ready to go for the mandible claw, where she had her in the Rings of Saturn, but she didn't want to put her hand in her mouth, so she had the ref start to give her a glove.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was planned or not, but fantastic. End result is Sheeta wins this match, but I think Britt Baker probably came out better in the loss due to the busted nose and the way she played it. So good job to her for sure. They had like the Hager and Moxley had a really good promo back and forth, I thought, like the two pre-recorded things.
Yeah.
Like, I really like that. And then we got more Brody Lee getting mad at people for wearing athletic clothes, basically.
Yeah.
And then
I thought that was neat. The point he was trying to make is, like, you're supposed to... Basically, if you take off the Dark Order mask, we want you to be able to blend in with society, so... Or
look like somebody that matters or something.
Yeah, instead of wearing tracksuits or whatever they were wearing.
We also got, let's see here, Matt Hardy and Vanguard 1 had a promo. They invited Jericho to the Hardy compound.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get some follow-up with that. That should be pretty exciting.
I did like how Matt Hardy did call Jericho out for wearing leather pants in his hot tub.
What makes me sad is I honestly did not catch that at the very beginning. Yeah. Like the first time he stood up, I was more like focused on the rest of it. And then I like saw it again and saw someone comment on it, and I was like, oh yeah, he is. That is bizarre. It's hilarious because, I mean, he did it on purpose, I'm sure.
Sure.
Although it would be fantastic if somehow you become friends with Jericho and you're hanging out and he's like going to the hot tub. He's like, hold on, I got to get my hot tub gear. And it's leather pants. Like, that's really what he does. He didn't know that was weird. So he was like, oh yeah, I was doing that because that's what the current Jericho character would do.
Yeah, he goes
not
out
like, that's weird.
He buys a pair of leather pants every day just to ruin in the hot tub.
Yeah, that would probably not be good for him. Trying to see here. Yeah, Cody moves on. He had that. It's on Twitter or probably their YouTube. Him sitting at the table with the scar. Cuts an promo on everybody. It's pretty good. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I do believe I have a story to tell, but it's more just humorous. So it's going to be right after the wrestling, before we get into Bigfoot, I have the feeling. So,
okay.
Do you have anything else on the wrestling front that you want to add?
No. I'm not very impressed with wrestling right now. Maybe I'm not a true fan.
It's hard without the crowd. Flat. It's just not the same.
It seems flat.
So, do you want to go on to... We'll do our conspiracy stuff?
Actually, I like to talk about movies. I mean, it won't be very long. This is movies and entertainment.
All right. Here, I'll play the bumper because they're fun. I'll let you know. Here we go.
Something that could never, ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
You chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
All right, the floor is yours.
So I was watching Hobbs and Shaw last night.
That is the
It's
Rock
a spinoff of
and what's his name? Yes,
Jason
Stamos.
No, Stamos. No.
No, Uncle Jesse.
Uncle Jesse and The Rock. No.
You know, I would actually pay to see that.
Yeah, it's The Rock and Jason Statham, and it's a spinoff of Fast and the Furious. So,
Okay.
so this movie, and I'm not going to ruin it for anybody who still wants to watch this or whatever, but I had a problem with it because I don't care if a movie's ridiculous, but when you set rules up, and I think I've said this before, when you set rules in your universe with your movie,
You gotta follow.
you gotta follow them. So in Hobbs and Shaw, so from what I'm understanding, they're just normal dudes that are just really good at fighting, okay, or really good at fighting. So the bad guy in it is like some kind of superhuman robot, genetically enhanced. I don't know. He's super basically. So everything he can punch harder. He can deflect bullets and everything. So he is like
Wait. Deflect bullets. Like they bounce
Like
off him, or he can like catch him with his hand, like Neo.
Yeah, he looks like he can like catch him with his hand a little bit and like deflect them and stuff like that. I don't know, type thing. So so anyway, he's just really superpower. He's jacked up and everything. So during the movie, there's like, I don't know if you've seen a Fast and Furious. They're always ridiculous with their cars
Right.
flying up in the air and all this stuff.
Yeah, my stepbrother loved those movies, and it was painful to me because I'm not a fan of those movies.
Well, so Hobbs and Shaw, there's a bunch of times in this movie where they're just driving the vehicles away from this guy because he's hunting them down for a reason. I won't say why, but hunting them down. So they're running from him, and they're like exploding. The cars are flying up in the air. They're crashing into like canyon riverbeds down below, and he's surviving it. Okay, so and I'm okay with him surviving it because he's superhuman. Okay,
Right,
Hobbs
he's
and
essentially
Shaw-
the Terminator.
yes, Hobbs and Shaw are also surviving these crashes and everything, and I'm like, well, are they superhuman too? Because the way you guys made it out to be, they're just normal humans, and a normal human would die if they fell down the Grand Canyon type thing. So
I think
That's
The
just my
Rock could
gripe.
do it.
sure, that's just my gripe. I was laughing, and maybe I shouldn't have been laughing. I think it was supposed to be like a serious moment, and I was just laughing because they're like, there's this one part to where they the bad guy is in an Apache helicopter, okay, and he's chasing The Rock and Jason Statham in this truck, and they have this it's a tow truck, and The Rock grabs the tow anchor and he wraps it around the helicopter, wraps it around the helicopter, and The Rock at one point is trying to pull the helicopter down with the hoist on the tow truck.
Right?
Well, the toy truck, the
Tow truck?
truck. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. The hoist comes out and the chain unravels and it's getting ready to fly off, and The Rock grabs it with his arms or with his hands, and he starts pulling the helicopter down with his strength. And I'm like, is The Rock Superman now?
I mean, Chris Evans is Captain America. The Rock is way bigger than him, and he was able to hold a helicopter to a building. So for The Rock being like twice his size, I think that's fair.
Captain America had super soldier formula. The Rock is just a dude. He's a big dude, but he's still just a dude.
Do you know that he didn't? Maybe he's keeping it a secret.
Yeah, The Rock. Yeah, that's right. I can bench press Apache helicopters. I don't know.
I can't even come up with a better way. Yeah, so like throughout it, it's like they're normal dudes, and then all of a sudden, superhuman kicks in.
Oh no, the whole movie's there like doing stuff where they should die, and yeah. So
Yeah, whereas if it would have been there like superhuman or something, like from just one thing, be like, oh yeah, we gave you guys this serum.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that makes everything. Basically, that one little thing would have made probably the rest of the movie okay for you.
That would have been. That's all I would have needed. It was like, hey, we got this secret formula that we're going to inject you with, so you can keep up with this guy. You're not going to be as powerful as him, but you can hold your own. I would have been okay with it.
Right. A lot of times, there's movies, or I'll compare it to actually going to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, it doesn't look too crazy, but they don't have half of their kitchen staff, so things are taking forever. All that server has to do when I sit down is say, hey, guess what? I would prefer not to guess what, because that... But yeah, like, hey, I want you guys to know our kitchen staff is a skeleton crew right now. Stuff is going to take a lot longer than normal. I just want you to be prepared so you can make the decision now whether to endure this or if you want to go somewhere else. Okay. However long it takes now, I'm prepared. Now, when it's 45 minutes that I've been waiting on my food and then you tell me that, guess what? Very different result than if you told me beforehand.
Let's go back to your server. They're making you play guessing games.
Yeah, so they're like, guess what?
Oh no, I'm not going to tell you until you guess it.
Honestly, I would start with the kitchen. Due to restaurant experience and being around them, that would be my first guess. Like, you're either brand new, covering for 3 people who are out sick, or the kitchen is missing everybody. Or if it's Taco Bell, you're out of meat.
I'm with you. I mean, I think if they would just tell people up front, like, hey, we're having some issues, someone call it off. You don't have to go in detail.
Right.
Just say, hey, someone call it off. We're a little short-staffed, so food is getting out a little bit later.
Right.
That's
Still
all you have
hot.
to say.
That's fine.
I think most people would be okay with that. Yeah, sure.
Right. Well, I just don't understand why they don't do that. That's one of the... Like, I'll get mad at service very often, but I usually don't ask for a manager. I don't stiff people or anything like that. But that particular one, it's like, I'll find a man and be like, why would your servers not tell us up front, or even better, your host or hostess, give us the heads up? Because then if we're here, we already know we're along for the ride. But when all of a sudden we find out later on, or don't tell me that and make up some crazy story that a king cobra is loose in the kitchen and you guys are trying to catch it. Like, whatever. At least tell me a lie. But yeah. Now, I have not watched any movies. Trying to think. Yeah, no, I've not watched hardly any television because I've been going to... Like, I get off work at 4:20, and then I go downstairs, and then by 5:30, except for yesterday, I've been asleep until time to wake up the next day, trying to recover. So...
I watched Survivor Man. He's released a bunch of videos on YouTube.
Oh, really?
For free. Yeah.
Is it under Survivor Man or Les Stroud or?
It's under Survivor Man.
Okay.
And there's one video that's actually pretty good. He was talking about surviving a pandemic.
Yeah.
And actually showing details, like going to the store, what you should do and not do. Like one of the things he recommend, like if you're going to a grocery store and they're not sanitizing carts, he's like some places are, some people aren't. Then what you want to do is bring a disinfectant wipe with you, but when you get there, choose a cart for outside because you want it outside because the sun is actually killing the virus. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Okay. Yeah.
And
now, did he go to the store with a broken arm that he later decided wasn't a good idea?
Yes. Yeah. So for this episode, I'm going to lick doorknobs and then show you what not to do. Yeah.
It's like, wait, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good.
I'll have to look for that. Yeah, because I always enjoyed his stuff. Obviously, I liked his approach better than Mr. Bear.
I think he also likes his approach because I don't think he gets along. Well, I just think he says that Bear Grylls his survivor techniques. basically.
Will get you killed.
I think that's what he said on like David Letterman or something.
Well, it's more like Bear Grylls' show was definitely entertainment. I think his show was entertainment as well, but it was a more serious approach to it.
Well, I think he's actually showing you how to survive. Bear Grylls is like showing you how to like
do cool stuff. If you're
in
kind of stranded, you can do this stuff. But if you're really stranded, you want this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen Survivor Man like kill a snake and like pee in it and then drink the pee out of the snake, and I don't know.
Right? Yeah, yeah, he does some weird stuff on that one, but all right. Yeah, I'll have to look for that. I have started watching YouTube on my phone more because I can skip ads.
Okay.
Whereas on the desktop, it doesn't give me any option to skip ads at all. And it's making me angry. Because there's not one, mattresses. What was it? Bloomberg for a while.
Yeah.
The current one is some kind of VPN. So, obviously, from when I was working on getting AEW through Fight, that showed up into my Target Me. Ugh, I hate them so much. But I'm not spending like $17 a month on YouTube Premium. It's just not happening. I don't hate them that much yet. I'll just refresh for 20 minutes without watching an ad. Like, I would rather do that than watch a 15-second ad at this point.
Oh, I did the same thing.
Let's see here. All right. So, do you want video game stuff or conspiracy stuff?
It doesn't matter. I'll let you choose, buddy.
All right. Let's do video game stuff. But before we do that, I don't know where else it'll fit in, but it's an amusing thing. The dream I had that is somewhat wrestling related is I was at a video game, or not a video game store, some kind of like grocery store or department store that sells action figures.
Okay.
And they had a variety of like wrestling toys, and I found they had AEW action figures, but they weren't the real ones that are going to be released. I found the only one that I could find, and they were the G.I. Joe size, like I prefer toys to be, but it was, you know, like a Force Ghost toy where it's like that bluish see-through plastic.
Yeah.
I found Force Ghost Hangman Adam Page action figure.
Okay.
And I picked it up and I was like, this is great. Where's the others? And there was no other figures in the line, but he was the only one. And then I was trying to figure out like what storyline made sense for Force Ghost Adam Page. And I just never could. But I have an actual G.I. Joe. It's a Cobra Commander that's like the see-through blue. It's basically what it was, because it almost looks like the toy is wearing a bandana.
Yeah.
So maybe I had thought about that before falling asleep somehow. But I just thought that was like an amusing little side thing. So
did you like the G.I. Joe movie?
the cartoon
Movies,
movie?
I guess. No, the live action movie.
I don't.
Or do you not know what I speak of?
I don't think I've ever seen that. I heard about it, but it just seems to not exist.
Sure.
But it's awesome when Serpentor gets Duke with the snake. And then you got Globulus and you got Cobra La. They're going la 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 all the time. And then you got I forget who it was. He's hanging out with Cobra Commander, who got the spores to the face and turned into a snake. Kept going, I once was a man. There's a lot more S's to that. But that movie's awesome.
I've never seen it, actually.
Cartoon movie's sweet. Just remember, if you watch that, Optimus Prime died so that Duke could go into a coma and not die.
Gotcha.
That debt was never paid.
All right, let's go to video games.
Get over here!
Time's up. Let's do this.
All right.
Video games.
Yes. Yes.
So, have you played any video games this week, or have you just fallen asleep?
Let's see. So on Monday, for the brief period that I functioned, I bought the small pre-package of the new Hearthstone expansion cards.
Okay.
I was reluctant, but I was like, I might as well do it. So I did. And then out of like the 50 cards I got or whatever, I got 4 legendaries.
Oh, okay.
So I did pretty good. I mean, obviously I didn't get very much, but I did that. I spent 2,500 gold on the battle pass for Battlegrounds. And then I made what was the OP Demon Hunter deck at the time.
Yes.
And burned some of my dust. And then I didn't even play it, and I fell asleep. Like, because Monday I bought it, and then Tuesday I opened them and did that. And then Wednesday, I played a couple games.
Okay.
And I had played a Battleground somewhere in there, and I finished 4th place, and it took away points from me. I was like, well, that's really strange. But then I saw people posting days later that they were hitting like 1st place, but it was saying they were actually 8th and taking points away from them, or finishing in last place and getting points. So something got real broke somewhere. Whether it was only like what we could see our side, or it was actually just messed up within the game, I don't know. But I only lost a few points that I shouldn't have because I only played the one game.
Gotcha.
And then, let's see. I kept thinking about playing many other games. Somewhere, the hype for the Shadowlands expansion and Warcraft hit me.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, and I think it was, I saw they were doing like the big class changes. And they were doing the level squish. There's only going to be like 60 levels again. I was like, yeah, I like MMOs again. So then I updated Classic and Retail both. I updated my add-ons.
Okay. So do you uninstall when you get done with a game?
Normally I do, but I have kept, because I kept thinking I'd go back to play more Classic because I liked it, but I was just like, I was in the level 40-ish grind where it feels like it gets extra rough. Like, you get your mount, but then you're just like, this is awful. And I just couldn't get past that point at the time. But I left it installed, and I think I had reinstalled Retail because I bought like a WoW token or something for Classic. And then I just forgot that I had it installed, honestly. So I just updated both of them. But normally, yeah, I would have had Retail at least uninstalled because that thing's massive.
Yeah, I've been playing Retail. So I think I sent you this message. So right now with their 100 times XP buff they're giving people to stay in, basically. And then the Dark Moon Fair buff, and then my Heirloom buff,
Right.
and then the BFA buff that they give you with the extra 10% extra XP. Yeah.
You can burn through BFA.
Oh, you're talking. I mean, I went from 110 to now I'm 117 in
One sitting?
It was about 2 hours, yeah.
That's pretty quick. And BFA, man, this is obviously opinion. What a bummer of an expansion it was for me, at least in the beginning, because I know we've mentioned it, but if people haven't been listening, I basically get super excited for the expansion, play the first patch, and play about a month into the first patch usually, and then I'm done.
Sure.
Almost every time. And the war campaign in this one just made me want to throw my character off a cliff.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. It just wasn't. Yeah.
It was the WWE version of something really cool, where you're like, this could be better.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know why it sucked so badly. Because I liked Legion.
Yeah.
Now, like playing through Legion again was boring. but maybe it's because I remember how Legion was when it first came out.
Right.
I don't know. It just seemed like, for whatever reason, man, just WoW just, I don't know. It just loses its flavor really quickly.
Well, it just depends like on how they do it. But for Shadowlands, I think one of the other things I've seen that's made me excited was they're not going to have the Titan forging or the chicken forging or any of that stuff. Which
I don't know why that bothers you, but yeah.
I hate it. And I think it was Asmongold, one of the streamers, fairly polarizing character, but he described it best, where it's like you're in line at McDonald's and you order a 4-piece chicken McNugget and a small fry and a small drink. You pay and you're waiting on your food, and the next guy comes up behind you and he orders the exact same thing, but they're like, "Oh, your food McForged. You get a 10-piece, a large fry, and a milkshake instead."
Yeah.
But they did literally nothing different. They just happened to be lucky. And it's such a massive difference that it feels bad.
Sure.
And I think that's where it is for me.
But that guy feels good, though.
Yeah, but there's no control over it. Or he got his McForge was actually his friend's order, and he doesn't even eat chicken. So he's like, "Oh, I just blew my luck on this."
Yeah.
It's going back to like Legion where they had the legendaries. I got the worst legendaries I could for mage, and it felt awful. So I didn't like it.
Yeah, see, I think so here's why I think WoW sucks now, is because they took away the danger. And I think that's what the appeal of what Classic is. Now, Classic is too grindy. I think Classic, I don't really like Classic for that reason, because, like you said, once you get up to 40, it is so grindy.
Right.
And you gotta want it. you gotta want it.
But I still like there's a simplicity to it at the same time, where it's like there's not all this crazy gear that you got to worry about. Like, it's not, "Oh, I got to run this dungeon," because now I didn't play WoW early on. My closest experience was Rift at launch, but it was very similar to Warcraft, and it was like, "Hey, there's this dungeon that drops this thing. This is what you want if you're a mage. All right, so I'm going to go and run that, and I might have to run it a couple dozen times, but once I get that drop, I'm done with it." Like, that's what I needed. It's not an issue of, "Oh, but if I run this again and I get it to drop and it Titan forges, it's actually what I really want. So now I got to run it. Even though I got it, it didn't Titan forge. I'm going to keep trying."
Yeah, sure.
Now, granted, that's my mentality for it, is I want to, even though I'm not in like a high level guild or anything like that, I play it to get the best stuff. And knowing that the best stuff, like, "Oh, I got what I think is the best thing. Oh, I killed a rat and it just dropped something that triple Titan forged."
Sure.
Like, that just, I don't like it.
Yeah,
That's the kind of random I don't like.
I think Shadowlands will be good. I think. Who knows? I mean, it could Blizzard be like, "Hey, I gotcha. I threw the debate out. You guys got it."
We'll hope that it does the good expansion, bad expansion pattern. Mm-hmm. And this one will be pretty good. But either way, I'm a little bit excited. If nothing else, I might try to level something. I tried like a few weeks back, and I just didn't get very far. But it seems like they're making some changes to Death Knights. I've always thought those were cool. So maybe I'll try one of those since they got the crazy bonus. But then I was looking for the Shadowlands stuff too. It looks like all the allied races requirements are being lifted.
Good.
Yeah, because that is
stupid.
some dumb stuff.
Well, because I wanted to roll a fox character. I don't know what they're called.
Volpera.
Yeah. So I wanted to roll one of them.
You actively play the game, and I don't. But why do I know this?
I just call them fox guys. But anyway, I wanted to roll one of them. I am not doing that grind to unlock them. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it.
No, there's no reason to. And now you just wait till the expansion.
I mean...
Which, who knows how long that's going to be, but I would rather wait than grind
Yeah.
some of that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, now going back to Hearthstone, I bought two cards, two
Two
card
packs.
things, 2 packs, yeah, with my gold because
I wish I could
I'm
send you gold.
because that's what I wish they would allow you to send your peeps some gold or something because right now I did get approved for unemployment, so now
Finally,
when I get paid, so yeah, when I get paid next week, I might buy me a hard pack, but
a small allotment or two.
I might buy 5.
Yeah.
No,
Did you
I
have
don't
enough
know.
stuff where you could make like Demon Hunter cards or something to make a deck?
No, well, once you do the story for Demon Hunters, don't you get other cards?
Most of them. There's still some that are in the packs, like Skull of Gul'dan, which
Okay.
that card. It's amazing that they nerfed a card as quickly as they did, but I don't see how that card launched the way it did, and they weren't like,
Okay.
this might be a problem.
Yeah.
You know what that card does?
No, I've not seen it.
Hold on. Skull of... I am typing it into the machine right now, and I'll tell you the original version and the edit. Hold on. 2 days ago. PC Gamer. Yeah, so Skull of Gul'dan, it came out as a 5 mana card. It got changed to 6 pretty quickly. But, so you're familiar with their mechanic where if it's in like the outside of their hand or whatever,
Yeah.
that you get like a special effect to it or whatever.
Okay.
So, Skull of
I'm looking at it
Gul'dan-
right now.
Yeah. Go ahead and pull it up. I'm pulling it up over here because it's pretty gross.
Draw 3 cards.
Yeah, so for 5 mana, you draw 3 cards, but you reduce their cost by 3 if it's, the left or rightmost hand in your card. So you're saving potentially 9 mana with that 5 mana
Okay.
card. That's pretty crazy. And then...
Oh, see, the one I'm looking at must have been because it says the one I'm looking at says draw 3 cards, reduce their cost by 3.
Right. And then it was, I believe, 5 mana, and it got bumped up to 6 mana.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but like that got nerfed straight away. They basically raised like the mana cost on some of the stuff, but yeah, because I think the intent of the deck, I didn't hardly played it at all, but you use one of the ones I was doing. You use Kel'Thas, where every third card, and they have a card that gives you +8 damage to your hero. So they also have that card's fairly expensive. But they have this Twin Slice card, where it's 0 mana, where you gain 1 attack, add a second copy of this card to your hand. So you play both of those. Your third card is your +8, and then you can, if you have the other Twin Slice in your hand, you can do that again. So the goal would be to have Kel'Thas on the board, both Twin Slices, and both the ones that give you 8 damage in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just do a whole bunch of damage.
Gotcha. Yeah, they seem to be very powerful, which I guess they should be, since Demon Hunters are supposed to be like the badasses of World of Warcraft. So I get it. But
They've I've heard that they've sacrificed everything
yes.
a time or two.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. So I played that. I've enjoyed it. The little bit that I've seen of it.
Right. I mean, I always
did
enjoy
you-
like the new cards. Like,
Now, did you watch that video for the where the Demon Hunter was fighting the warrior?
yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah, tell the listeners because I recommend watching it. That was
It is
entertaining.
basically Hearthstone meets Yu-Gi-Oh, like from the cartoon, because they have Garrosh and Illidan, and they're fighting. But when they do the card, it does like the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon thing where they everything comes alive, but they're actually fighting each other. And it's, if you've seen like a thumbnail and a video for it, because I know Blizzard tweeted it out a bunch.
Yeah.
Take a few minutes and go watch it, and you'll probably have a good laugh. One of the turns I thought was fantastic because it was this big epic battle back and forth, and then this massive blow, it looks like, but it's like -4 damage. And then it just goes back to the next turn, like totally normal. So I like the absurdity of it.
Sure. Other than that, I played Covenant Exiles. I keep waiting for you to eventually get on it. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the game broke you. So.
I look at it. I haven't updated. Like it's in the rotation to be there. It's just the time effort to it. And
maybe when they release their new map, maybe I can get you back on it.
It could be. Like, I'm not against it. It's just hard to pull the trigger. It's also that I know that's a game that I could sit for hours, and I haven't been able to be awake for 2 hours after work for like 3 weeks. So it is hard. Like, my wife yesterday was like, "Oh my goodness, it's 7 o'clock and you're still awake." If that says anything, like, it was a surprise.
Oh, sure.
The dogs were not happy. They were very used to me falling asleep and them just jumping up. But, all right,
so you ready to go on over to Bigfoot?
Yeah, I am going to use our station change real fast.
Bigfoot and Mitch McConnell.
Covered, and there's so much more.
Yeah, let's do the weird. So I have it's HuffPost, but whatever.
I'm sure someone's listening to like Mitch McConnell and Bigfoot. How's that?
It's more so just where they have one of the distancing pictures, and it's Mitch McConnell, and it's like the seal room, I assume, is what's on the floor. It's probably like a seal for wherever, but he's like in the center of the design, and then people are around him on like the outer circle of this thing. And like the one person, let's see here, Sketches by Bose, perhaps is how it's pronounced. It's their comment to it was, "Why does it look like 7 Ministry of Magic wizards are trying to cast stunning spells to take down Mitch at the same time?" Because they're holding their phone and recorders out at a distance. One person, let me see here, I saw it. Yeah, this one person, it's Ian Milheiser. He's someone who's verified, but I'm not sure who it is. But he's like, "Dear God, who's the idiot in the mask who broke the circle? Mitch is going to escape." Basically saying it's like a summoning circle or assault circle, something like that. Because like someone had put, like, it looks like a group of magi binding an evil genie to a pentacle or something like that. So there's just like a bunch of stuff along those lines where it's just such a ridiculous thing. It's understandable, I guess, but it just is bizarre. And the fact that he just chose a room with a bunch of circles and is standing dead on the center.
I think he should double down on it. I think the next press conference he should like have like torches and like
have a bunch of druids.
Just double down on it. He should be wearing that. He should be wearing a wizard hat. Big old staff like Gandalf.
I want him in like the if you've played Final Fantasy, like the yellow hat and the blue robe for the Black Mage.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Thou.
But
thou shalt not pass. Bam.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm sure there's a million politicians or people who are in the same thing, but it's just a funny looking picture. For sure.
Hey, anything that can get you through this where you can laugh, why not?
All right. So I want to talk. You sent me the link to this. Now this is like super old. Now this is also HuffPost, but the headline to this thing. So this is like conspiracy or Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it. This one is Bigfoot is wandering Michigan man's property and eating pizza, he claims in a police report. So we have talked about Bigfoot multiple times in the past. We also talked about a theory I heard, I assume it was on Jericho's podcast, and then we read about it, and it was the lamest thing ever.
I think it was on Jericho's podcast.
Yeah. Interdimensional Bigfoot was the claim, where Bigfoot is actually able to shift dimensions. That's why he's so hard to see.
And I didn't like that.
Which at a
'cause I thought it
glance, at first you're like, oh, that sounds crazy. But then you like read into it and you're like, this is the lamest Bigfoot ever.
Yeah, because I thought that was too much sci-fi with my Bigfoot.
Right. It just the theory, the conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, just didn't click for me. Now this one gets good. So
yes. Now I'm okay with this Bigfoot for some reason.
right. It's that line we all draw somewhere. So
yes.
This one, I'm going to read some of the article here and there, but
Okay.
this guy's basically saying someone's vandalizing his estate and he's wanting help from law enforcement. Now remember, this is 2014, so whatever. Basically, Bigfoot's been wandering around a Michigan property, shape-shifting and eating pizza. So I was sold on whatever this story is, and I believe it already. But they have where this 52-year-old guy comes into the local law enforcement. He's armed with evidence, including photo albums, empty food containers, dirt, alleged what they're calling Bigfoot scat, which would basically be, waste matter, and asked for help verifying the existence of the mythical creature, according to the report from the sheriff's office. So
now they don't say what's in the photo albums. I
Right.
hope it's pictures.
This is just like family photos. That would be even better if nothing. But
yes.
my favorite part of this is the empty food containers, because that's just like coming in with a bunch of Big Mac boxes. Like, Saul, look at all these Big Mac boxes. You know what ate these? A Bigfoot.
Yes.
And then when you ask for proof or anything, I'm like, well, they're empty. How else do you think they got ate?
Yeah, I mean that would be like the equivalent. Yeah, that would be like me bringing in a TV box. Like, hey, someone stole my TV out of this.
Look at this empty
right
box.
Here. Yeah.
So, but
I want to file a police report.
yeah, so this guy goes on and speaks to the deputy, and he explains that he accidentally awoke the Bigfoot spirit by knocking branches against a tree to break them into smaller pieces. This began when he moved onto the 17-acre property back in 97. So it took 21... No, that's not right. It took many years. Oh my god. 10 years would be 2007 plus 17 years before he went to the police.
Yeah.
According to the incident. Let's see.
Well, I've seen enough ghost movies and stories and stuff where the spirits get more and more powerful. So I mean,
Over time?
sense. Yes.
Yeah, so he's... we'll find out as we go through this. So he said he had a serious sighting 7 years ago when he thought he saw a man in a ghillie suit hunting. So if people don't know what the ghillie suit is, that's basically the crazy sniper suit that looks like a moss-covered sloth or something along those lines. But he says when they locked eyes, the being began to fade and turn into a mist. The mist then reformed into a white-tailed deer and ran away into the woods. So
now I have a problem with Bigfoot being sci-fi, but I don't have a problem with Bigfoot having magic powers. I don't know why that is.
Turning into a mist is more magic than sci-fi.
Yes.
Now, if he would have like morphed, like Power Ranger style or something, then yeah. But now I'm more okay with this than interdimensional Bigfoot already.
Yeah.
So I think it is strange that he turned into a deer to run away.
Well, I mean, he's like that one character in DC, the woman that has the charm bracelet that goes to the different animal spirits. Maybe
like she doesn't
maybe
have 100% control.
Yeah, so maybe Bigfoot needs something with speed, so that's why he turned into
he's got a rotation.
Yes.
It would have been better if he would have been like, and then he turned into a giraffe and ran into my woods. Like, wait, what?
Yes.
Because that would make me think that if you were to displace this particular Bigfoot, like if he only, like, how does shape-shifting Bigfoot learn his skills? Is it based on the animals he's around?
Yes.
Because if Bigfoot's living in Michigan,
well,
even if he's come from Canada or the U.S., he's probably not seen very many, like wild safari type animals, like zebras or giraffes or elephants.
If you want to go one step further, who's to say that he's even Bigfoot? He could be something else.
He's a wizard who's turned into a Bigfoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he wanted to eat some pizza and mess with this dude.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see here. We'll skip a little bit. For years, this guy has seen what he believes is evidence of Bigfoot, including the scat, dead animals, trees broken in specific ways, impressions in the snow, food boxes rolled into shapes or folded into triangles. Again, how does that prove Bigfoot and not just some hobo who's littering on your property for the food part?
Yes.
Like, really, most of this stuff, other than the turning into a deer, I've not seen many hobos do that, but the other stuff sounds a lot more like you have trespassers.
The power of the hobo.
Or squatters. That was the funniest word that I could come up with for, like, a wanderer, so to say.
No, that'd be great. If hobos had that power, it's turned into deers.
I don't know. But, so, in the incident report, the deputy says that this guy asked that the food boxes and the scat be tested for DNA.
Okay.
I just love... I can't get it out of my head that the food boxes are one of the things this guy is using to claim the existence of Bigfoot. Because where... So is Bigfoot turning into, like, a local hipster and going to wherever to pick the food up? Is he stealing it from dumpsters?
Yeah.
How does that work? Is this guy, like, leaving... Do you remember the old Looney Tunes where they'd have, like, the trap that was a box with a stick on it? Does he just have, like, a big crate that says Bigfoot trap with, like, a plate, and then he's sitting there with a stick and some rope?
Yeah. And then he calls the police over, and it's like a little kid, the next door neighbor or something.
But, so, police told him pretty much that DNA processing is only used for serious crimes, and that Bigfoot is not a suspect in any criminal activity. Technically, he could go for trespassing, it sounds like.
True.
Or littering. But yeah, that's fine. I don't expect... Well, he also claimed that he wanted their help to verify his claim to win a $10 million cash prize. $10 million Bigfoot Bounty, a new reality television show. So, yes. I think we're seeing what's going on here with that little tidbit of information all of a sudden as to how it took so long for this to happen. So, somewhere in this article, because we kind of skimmed it, there is a guy saying that they think DNA testing is useful to prove Bigfoot's existence, which I agree.
Sure.
If you find like a strain of DNA that matches literally nothing or is wildly different or something like that, that's fine. I don't think you can expect the police department to finance that for you, though. That seems pretty unreasonable. So, there were also, for this area, it's Midland County is where it's at. In the 70s, there were 3 other Bigfoot sightings back then. And it goes on where, like they've seen them in San Antonio. Like, people see Bigfoot everywhere. Apparently, if he can shapeshift, who knows? He might fly in or turn into a bird and migrate south.
The most credible thing, as far as people that I don't actually know but watch, is Survivor Man.
Right.
Actually talked a little bit that he thinks that there's something out there. He's not saying there is a Bigfoot, but he believes there's something because he's seen some weird stuff. And the guy, I mean, I kind of trust Survivor Man. That I don't think he's lying because he seems a pretty down to earth type. That as much places he's been throughout the world, who knows?
Right. Well, he was also real big on no Bigfoot, and then kind of changed his mind.
Sure.
So either he was like, there's money to be made here, or he was like, oh my God, I believe in Bigfoot.
Yeah, sure.
Either way. There was a guy, let's see here. There was a guy that said he had proved he killed the Bigfoot with DNA or something, but he wasn't going to share that stuff with the public. So it's like, I killed Bigfoot. You know, Saul, in my room, I have a unicorn right now.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to show anybody.
Sure. Sure.
I have pictures. I have all the proof in the world. But nobody's going to know. But I'm going to tell you that I have it. So.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's the best type of evidence to have right there. I have it, but I'm not going to show you.
So at the bottom part of this is probably the best part of the whole thing. The guy believes Bigfoot is not ape man or a mammal at all, but a spiritual creature that can shapeshift. But when it takes form, eats pizza and defecates. Where is the pizza coming from? Like, that's what's driving me nuts that's not explained, is how Bigfoot has access to pizza. Or various other food wrappers, because that makes me think it's fast food.
Yes.
Which can easily be explained by you have 17 acres, people are camping out on your land.
Oh, so I read this wrong. So it's not his pizzas that the Bigfoot's eating. He's just eating random pizzas and leaving the discarded boxes.
Yeah, he's just eating pizza or food. Like, it doesn't say anywhere in here that I saw that he is breaking into the guy's house and stealing his food.
Oh, see, I was taking it as Bigfoot was stealing his pizzas. Well, this makes it even better. So Bigfoot is actually getting pizza somewhere else and bringing it to the guys.
It would be more okay if Bigfoot was hijacking the delivery drive. I figured it out. The guy orders a pizza for delivery. Bigfoot shapeshifts into the guy.
Yes.
If the guy's paid by credit card, it's already paid. Bigfoot takes the food, turns back into Bigfoot, scarfs down his pizza, rolls it up into shapes, and leaves it on the guy's porch.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
we figured it out. I wonder if this guy is still alive. I know it's only been 6 years, but something tells me there's a chance Bigfoot might have got him. There's also a very helpful picture of what a Bigfoot in the woods may look like at the top of this article. I love Bigfoot stuff so much.
So how long have we been doing this? Where were we at on time?
An hour and 12 minutes.
All right. Do you want to call it, or you have anything else to talk about?
I want to go through. So on the brobible.com, you can get to most believable conspiracy theories of 2019. I want to touch on a couple of these just real quick, because some of them were pretty amazing.
Sure.
The big one, let me find it here. I know this is fantastic for all the listeners, is the Long John Silver's is a money laundering scheme for marijuana kind of thing. There's a YouTube video, I can't remember the name of the guys, but they seem to do a lot of like that, the more outlandish stuff.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Siri just came onto my phone and was trying to help me find out about Long John Silver's. But yeah, basically, so I watched the video on it, but one of these conspiracies is that Long John Silver's is a...
I think it's funny that we're talking about conspiracy theories and you have Siri.
And she popped up without me doing anything.
There's all kinds of things about Siri going on.
I'm not worried about Siri because I'm always very polite. So
yes.
But yeah, basically it's saying that, like, have you ever seen a busy Long John Silver's? No. And basically, like, this a Kentucky-based marijuana cartel, I guess you could call it, started using them to launder money. That's why it got such a big chain, and that's why you never see one busy. Now, I will say where I live, they used to have a line out the door every so often. In later years, they definitely weren't very busy. It was the senior community that was there, if at all. But most people now seem to go to Captain D's. But I like the idea of that's why Long John Silver's exist, is to launder money. But
the mob is using it as a front, yeah.
I prefer Long Johns to Captain D's myself.
I don't think I've ever had Captain D's, to be honest with you.
It's not bad. I mean, it's fried. It's generic fried fish. I mean, I don't know what you're looking for exactly, but if you like Long Johns, you'd probably like Captain D's just as well. Dad, growing up, the two things we got a lot of was KFC and Long Johns, and I think that gives me a special spot to that.
I like. Do you like KFC or Popeyes?
I am not close to a Popeyes, but I would take that over KFC. Locally, we have Lee's Famous Recipe, so it's super close. So I'll just get their spicy crispy, and it crushes KFC. I think we used to the computer place we both worked at, and in my room, I don't know if you were ever invited. I can't remember. We would occasionally pull money and get Popeye's chicken some days. Yeah. So that's the first place I had. But yeah, I think theirs is better. I don't know about their chicken sandwich yet, but
yeah.
Let's see here.
I like me some Popeyes.
Now, do you get? Have you had their sandwich?
Yeah.
How does it rate compared to KFC?
It's better.
I'm sorry, not KFC. Chick-fil-A.
It's better.
Is it better than Chick-fil-A's?
So I'm a really picky eater, and
I can attest.
And
people
so it's
who
all about
like
texture. With
real quick, I want to make. I will cook a steak. I usually go for around medium, but I will put ketchup on a steak. Now, there might be people who are furious at the moment. If they saw what you do to meat when you cook it, me putting ketchup on a steak, it could be filet mignon, and they wouldn't bat an eye compared to the massacre that your burning is.
A couple, I think it was like a couple weeks ago. Actually, no, it was before all this craziness happened. My brother-in-law bought us all steaks for his wife's birthday. So he cooked them all like medium rare. Okay.
I go for medium to medium. Well, I don't like medium rare, but medium for sure.
Well, in any case,
yeah.
So we get there, and he's like, "Oh," so he's like, "I bought these steaks. It cost me some good money here, whatever." So he gets it, and I was like, "Well, can I turn the grill back on because this is not how I like my steak?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought that's how I like it." Type thing. He's like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So I go out there and I burned the piss out of the steak.
I was gonna say, I proceed to turn it to charcoal.
I burned it because that's how I like it. I for whatever reason, I don't know why, texture issues, or I like the way, like, I just like it burnt. he didn't say anything to me, but he looked at me kind of like, I can't believe you just destroyed my steak.
But at least you ate. You didn't just like burn it and then leave it. You ate it. So
yeah,
because that's how you wanted it.
Yeah. My wife's the same way. She gets mad at me because I like it burnt. I don't know.
It's
Anyway, back to the KFC.
Or to the sandwich.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A versus that.
Chick-fil-A. I think one time I had there was like a fatty piece in it, and I bit into it, and for whatever reason, that texture it's like embedded in my mind.
Yeah, so
and I can't eat.
Forever ruined.
Yep, it's forever ruined.
Did I ever tell you my Rally's spicy chicken sandwich story?
No.
So, I'm going to spoil the end of the story by telling what I heard before it happened. But, so I was listening to the radio. This was back in high school, so around 97-ish, probably. Like, I could drive, but you could always get the spicy chicken sandwich at Rally's, or Checkers in some areas, for like $2. That was always the good deal to have. And I had heard a story on the radio where someone had bit into a chicken breast, and all of a sudden they thought they had mayonnaise. But it turned out that particular chicken patty had a pus pocket. So if I have not foreshadowed enough where this story is going. So years after the fact, I believe, I bite into this spicy chicken sandwich at the stoplight. I'm turning left to go to the mall because malls were still a thing around then. And there's like a pop almost, like a bubble. And my mouth is hot and burning. Like, painful. And there's something in my mouth that I know shouldn't be there because I always get my sandwiches plain. and I spit a bunch of stuff out. Like, open the door, you spit out to the side. And I look at the chicken patty, and there's this big hollow area where my bite mark is. And I know what's happened.
Yeah.
And I put that particular sandwich, I wrapped it back up, threw it on the floorboard to throw away for later, and I grabbed my other sandwich and ate it.
Well, it was this grease trapped in there, right?
From texture? No. I believe that I was warned about a pus pocket in a chicken sandwich, and then I bit into one. Because it might not be possible that could survive being deep fried like that.
Yeah.
But there was something that was unholy inside that chicken breast. I got it out of my mouth as best I could. Did not finish that particular sandwich. I mean, it was like, where I looked where there was like the pocket or whatever, it was hollow.
Yeah.
At that point. So something was wrong. It is possible, but that was the last time I got a spicy chicken sandwich from Rally's.
Now you're going to get a request to eat a spicy chicken sandwich
from Rally's. I mean, I would do it, but I'd poke it a whole bunch with like a toothpick or something. Because holy moly. But yeah, that was real gross. So I'm so glad that your story did not go that way for you, though. Because like a fatty deposit is still kind of gross, but survivable. Yeah. So just know it could be worse. But yeah, so based on that, then Popeyes is superior?
To me, yes.
Do you get it plain? Or is there like a sauce on it, or...
whatever, like mayonnaise sauce they put on it or whatever.
I would not be getting that, but I'll try it plain and see. I keep meaning to, and then I just never do. Let me see here. There was one more of these. There's a few that are funny, but we're kind of long, so I'll try to find it.
We'll pick it up next week.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to be short on wrestling stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot of these. One of them was that PETA is actually ran by meat companies to make people look crazy. Like, basically, they want because like PETA does some crazy stuff, and supposedly that's intentional to make everyone's opinion of like the animal rights activists be crazy.
Yeah.
So I got it pulled up on the screen here, but we have something from one of the dudes from Duck Dynasty. You were telling me about their podcast, episode 73, where they were trying to feed the homeless people right now, but we can bring that up next week. Where it's just like, it's weird. They were like, the short of it is they were trying to feed people, but everything going on right now, it's difficult to do like a charity thing. Yeah. So we'll delve into that a little bit, but yeah, I think this is a pretty good place to call it. So if you're checking us out for just the wrestling stuff, apologize, it's a little bit light, but it's just not really, doesn't feel worthy of talking about a ton at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be some cool stuff here and there, but it's just, we need to get back to crowds one day. So,
yes. And
or
we
they
will.
just need to have some like if Jericho shows up at the Hardy compound, I can promise you we're going to be talking about that. But now if someone wants to send something in for us to watch, obviously we'll take a look at that and see what we got, or games or movies or whatever. We've done a few of the movie shows. That's about the only way to get me to watch a movie, by the way. So
I will yes, I will agree to that. Yes.
All right, so that will be the end of the show today. I'm going to play our sandwich shoe bumper one more time.
Why did Britt take her shoe off to eat that sandwich?
That would have been great during the chicken pus story area. Should go back and edit that in, but all right, everybody. Try to continue to stay safe or not say. I mean, whatever you want to do, but
it's your life. Do what you want to do. Live like.
I would like to leave people with this thought: that current day, when you see the weirdos, well, maybe that's a harsh word, but the people who wearing the really crazy face masks, just know that back when fanny packs were cool, they had some crazy fanny packs on that body. Guarantee it. Because it's the same thing in a way.